We're going to hear now from Alex Burghart. He is the Shadow Northern Ireland Secretary. Alex, tell us your reaction to what you've heard today.
Well, this is unacceptable. There was a very good report published last night by Policy Exchange, which set out the legal issue that Labour is about to create by repealing the legislation that was brought forward by the last Conservative government, which explicitly ruled out people being given compensation in this way. So, yeah, we're very much opposed to it, and we will certainly be fighting it when it comes to Parliament.
What did you make of Keir Starmer's line in the Commons this lunchtime? He's basically said he is striving to make sure this doesn't happen.
Well, that's all very well, but they are committed to repeal the legislation which offers the protection to the government to give that compensation. So I think that this is just words. I don't think they've thought this through.
The government has said that they've inherited a scheme from your party that had the support of no one in Northern Ireland, which was found in many cases to be unlawful, and which under your scheme, the Conservative scheme, actually gave immunity to people who have committed appalling acts of terrorism.
Emily, there's the piece of legislation we're talking about, the Legacy Act, is a very long and complex piece of legislation which dealt with many different things. And the particular part of the Act that we're talking about here was something introduced by Conservative peers in the Lords to protect what are known as the Cultona Principles. And I'll just set that out very briefly because it's quite technical. The Cultona Principles have been in place since the 1940s in the way that Britain runs its government. And it means that if an piece of legislation says a Secretary of State has to sign something off, the Secretary of State's junior minister can do it. And the judgment in the Gerry Adams case, and the case connected to Gerry Adams, was that this was invalid. And it meant that the interim custody order that had been signed in the 1970s that had put Gerry Adams in custody was invalid. And that completely invalidated a whole long-established practice in British government. In our Act, one of the things in our Act overruled that judgment, made it clear that the Cultona Principles were protected then and now. And if the government goes ahead and repeals this Act, as it said it will take that out and Gerry Adams will be in line for compensation. We're very much opposed to that.
But Emily's point is correct, isn't it, Alex? Which is that, OK, fine, there are particular provisions that you say are problematic, but the Legacy Act overall was opposed by the unionist parties, it was opposed by Sinn Féin, the Irish government and the US government. Therefore, they were dealing with a highly problematic piece of legislation which had actually done that very rare thing, which was to unite every stakeholder and every interest group within and coalition within Northern Ireland against it. So they had to do something, didn't they? Because the piece of legislation you passed was so imperfect.
Well, actually, there were lots of people who supported the legislation. Look, the Labour Party has won the election. It ran on a manifesto to say it would repeal the Act. It's got a mandate to do that. What we're arguing about today is this specific part of it. The Labour Party has also said it will keep a large part of the Act, which establishes the ICRIR, which is the Commission on Reconciliation and Recovery. So it's not like everything needs to be scrapped. This particular part of the Act has to be kept, or we're going to see people receive compensation that they shouldn't get. That is wrong, and we will oppose it.